Hey guys, MTraveller7 here, and I've got some exciting news to share with you. I have just booked my next trip, and once again I'm going back to Europe, and I am heading on to the other side of Europe, a part of Europe that's not really well traveled yet, but is becoming more and more popular each year, and that's Eastern Europe. I'm so pumped up for this trip. I've never been to Eastern Europe before. I'm going to be hitting 4 new countries. I'm going to be hitting Czech Republic, Hungary, Slovakia, and Poland. I'm so excited about this trip, and I can't wait to share it all with you guys. I'm going with Contiki, and prior to my Contiki trip, I'll be arriving a few days earlier, and I'm going to be arriving into Paris. And that's the city where I was last in Europe, where my last Contiki trip in the fall had ended. And I absolutely fell in love with Paris, and it just wasn't enough time. So now I'm going back to Paris. I'm going to be spending 2 days in Paris, and I'm going to be staying in a hostel. This is actually going to be my first hostel that I'm going to be staying in. And I've heard nothing but great things about hostels from other travel vloggers on YouTube and that. And I booked this great place near the train station where I want to be in the city. So I'm going to be spending a couple days in Paris, and then I'm going to be taking a train from Paris all the way to Berlin. And then that's when my Contiki tour starts. So I start off in Berlin, spend a full day in Berlin, then we're off to Dresden. And then from there we head to Prague in Czech Republic. We spend a couple days in Czech Republic, and then we head down through Slovakia. We have lunch in Bratislava, and then from there we head down to Vienna, Austria. And then from there we head down into Hungary, and we spend a couple of days in Budapest, which I'm really looking forward to. And then from there we head back up to Slovakia, stopping in this town. I can't pronounce the name, so here's the name of the town. And then we head into Poland, and we have a couple of days in Krakow. And then from there we head to this other town in Poland. I can't pronounce the name. That's the name right there. And from there we head north to Warsaw and have a couple days in Warsaw before the tour is over. I'm really looking forward again to Paris because, again, one day just wasn't enough. I already have some things planned that I'm going to do, and the train ride from Paris to Berlin is just going to be amazing. This is going to be the first part of the trip that I'm going to be traveling on my own. I've never traveled really alone before. I've had parts of a trip where I've been on my own, but I'm going to be traveling on my own for like 3 days, and it's going to be really awesome. I'm really looking forward to it, and then joining the group in Berlin for the tour. This tour is very World War II oriented. I'm a huge history buff, and in World War II and wars and all that stuff interests me, and how these people have been able to rise to power and stuff like that. So it's very, very war driven. A lot of Jewish memorials we'll be going to, and we'll be actually going to Auschwitz, and everyone knows that's the most infamous Nazi concentration camp. I've always wanted to go to Auschwitz to see the horror that was there for 7 or 8 years, however it was. I've already been to one concentration camp in Dachau, which is just north of Munich, and that was a very moving experience. It was the most powerful place I ever been in my life. And I trust that Auschwitz will deliver the same. I don't know if it's going to be a bigger impact on me because how infamous it was and how it was used in Schindler's List or Steven Spielberg's film there. But yeah, it's going to be very, very powerful moment that I'm looking forward to. It's going to be amazing. I've never experienced Eastern Europe before. I've always been in the central and western part of Europe. It's not really, people don't go to that part of Europe. They just go to Rome and Paris and stuff. I know those are great cities, don't get me wrong in that, but Europe is just not that. There's so many more countries, so many different cultures and foods and beers to try in that. So I'm really looking forward to the whole trip. So that is my next trip. I leave in a few weeks at the end of April, and I'm going to be doing a slightly different style of video on this trip. I'm gonna try and see if it works. I do a lot of documentary style videos. I'm still gonna continue that. But I'm gonna be featured more in the video. So I'll be documenting the trip, and I am so excited for this trip. It's gonna be amazing, traveling on my own for the first few days and then joining a group in Berlin and going around Eastern Europe.